Welcome! Thank you so much for joining me on the Socially Delightful podcast. I'm Jewel, human connection enthusiast and your host, and this show is all about delighting in yourself, delighting in socializing and in others, and creating truly supportive, delightful friendships and relationships, even in our modern world with our modern stress. In this podcast, we have fun creating a new culture of living in social delight. Now let's dive into how we're going to do that today. What's up, y'all? Today I'm going to be sharing a story with you that might have you grasp your pearls because of the audacity of some people. This story is about someone giving me their unsolicited opinion of me, how this person's opinion hurt me, and how I use this whole situation for me rather than against me, because I can be cool like that. We're going to be talking about the I shouldn't care what other people think mentality in future episodes. But in this episode, when someone literally tells you what they think, we're going to be hashing out that internal debate that we have with ourselves when this happens. Oh my gosh, is it true? Should I listen to them? Do I listen to other people's opinions about me? Whose opinion should I listen to? We are also going to be debunking a huge belief that our inner critics would like us to believe, a huge, super common fear that so many of us have. Debunking. And then I'm going to give you a mental framework that I find super, super helpful for dealing with other people's opinions. My clients love it. So, without a further ado, my butt and I and I would like to tell you a story. So, to really set the scene, to really have you picture it in your minds, I was out for my friend's birthday with some of her other friends, my bestie-in-laws, and we were on this 3-floored country bar in Detroit. So, tin roof, anyone? And this guy would not leave one of my bestie-in-laws alone. And he wasn't like the worst ever, but she was not looking at him. She said no thanks to whatever he offered her. And then he just kind of like stuck around and kept trying to get her to engage with him. And he just kept standing closer and closer and closer to her. And I was like, okay, heck no, like this is no. So I believe I went up to him and I eloquently said, "Leave her the fudge alone." I don't know if I'm allowed to swear on YouTube yet. I don't know. So, fudge. And look, when I went up to him, I didn't expect this man to turn and look at me and be like, "Oh, of course, milady. I will exit this woman's personal space promptly." Like, I didn't expect him to be happy about it, all right? But I did not expect what he did say. He started making a bunch of comments about my body. He started talking about how my butt was flat and that I was just mad that he was going after her and not me and that I was unattractive and, yada, yada. Now, if I'm being honest, I was surprised that this hurt me. I felt like I became a bruised peach. But for real though, I did feel bruised about my peach. I felt like a bruised peach about my peach. And in that moment, I brushed it off. I made sure my bestie-in-law was all good. She was. And then I went home. When I got home, I started looking at my butt in every mirror that I physically was able to. And I had never thought that my butt was flat before, but I started posing it in all sorts of angles. And I really started asking myself, like, was he right? Is this true about me? Am I not attractive back there? And I started feeling self-conscious about my rear end. I started to feel less womanly, less desirable. Now, this is a perfect example of a big old thought error. If other people think it, it must be true. If other people think it, it must be true. A lot of times, we will try to use other people's opinions as mirrors. We think that other people's opinions are like reflecting back to us things about ourselves that like maybe we just can't see. But this is incredibly misguided. Other people's opinions of us cannot be the most accurate reflection of us because their glass is way too dirty. It's filthy, y'all. Instead of thinking about other people's opinions as mirrors, I want you to think of everybody as wearing invisible glasses. Okay? Stay with me here. So picture everybody has a pair of invisible glasses on, and they're seeing you through those glasses. Now, on their glasses, on their lens, they have their insecurities smudged on it. They have their fears. They have some residual dusty beliefs from their childhood. They also have small little tiny cracks from their past hurts. It is literally impossible to see ourselves completely accurately in someone else's glasses. Other people are terrible mirrors. And this man's glasses, barman's glasses, his glasses were covered and super smudged with the societal belief that a woman's appearance is what made her valuable. This man's glasses, in that moment, were also cracked by feeling a bit rejected. So he resorted to cutting down a woman in the way that he thought would hurt the most to make himself feel better. This man's glass, this man, he was not an accurate mirror of me. Now, part of the reason why his comment bothered me so much in the first place is because my glasses were also dirty. I also have some smudges on there that are, I must make sure that I am physically attractive as a woman or else I will not be worthy. I will be less worthy. So when he said his little comment about my rear, I believed him because I had the same smudges. Now, this isn't black or white, but for the most part, if another person's opinion bothers you, it's because you, most likely, already believed their opinion before they said it to you. All right? So, a little side quest here, a little example of this. And I heard this story circulating the internet, and I have no idea who said it. If you do know, well, let me know. But I love this example. I think it's so good. So, if you do not have blue hair, and someone comes up to you and says, your blue hair is ugly, you're going to be like, what? I don't have blue hair. You weirdo? Okay. And you're totally going to brush off their opinion because you don't believe it. Now, we're talking about other people's opinions right now from a place of like, when they could hurt us or when they're negative. But I also want to say, on the other hand, other people's opinions can be really positive. Like when somebody compliments you and you feel good, it's because you already believed it too. Like if someone came up to you and said, girl, you look so cute today. And if you were like, oh, yeah, you're right, girl, I do look cute today. Like if you felt good about what they said, it's because you believed them. Same thing when other people compliment you and it just makes you uncomfortable and a little less trusting sometimes, like maybe you feel like distrustful. That's because you don't believe their compliment. So if somebody came up to you and was like, hey girl, you look really cute today, and you were like, no, that's because you didn't believe them. All right? Now, recognizing that this guy's opinion, barman, his opinion bothered me so much because of a belief that I already had before he stated his opinion was huge. It helped me acknowledge my smudge, acknowledge this belief, and decide if I wanted to operate from it or not. And I did not want to operate from the belief that I needed to make sure that I was physically attractive in order to be worthy. When you acknowledge your thoughts, especially the ones you don't like, you have more power over them. Awareness and acknowledgement is authority, y'all. It's authority. So when I realized that I was questioning myself because of this like BS societal belief, because of my own fear that I was too little or my butt was too flat to be attractive and desirable, I was unempowered because recognizing that that's what I was thinking, recognizing that smudge was more than enough for me to be like, boom, I'm done with this. It's fine. I'm good. I actually literally remember thinking to myself, like in a playful way, like, aw, you're bummed because you believe some patriarchal BS? Aw. and laughed to myself about it. Because before this man said anything to me, was I insecure about my butt size? No. Now I can already hear some of you in the car being like, okay, well, that's great, Joel, that you got over it, but what if you were still upset about it? What if you were insecure about your butt size before then, and then they said it to you? Like, what did I? Like, what if I did think that my rear end was flat? So I thought about this, and here's what I would do, because there's definitely been times where people have said things to me, and I've been like, oh my God, I do think that, right? So if I did think my butt was flat, this is so weird talking about this about my butt. It is. It's kind of funny. Come on. Anyway, if I was insecure about my butt size, here is what I would do. Again, it's weird talking about it because it's my back end, but if I thought it was, I'd be like, okay, how can I be accepting of this? How can having a flat butt be okay? How can I own this part of myself? Or is there anything I want to do about it? Now, I am not an expert in body positivity, and I really want this episode to like stay on other people's opinions, but I think it's so helpful to note that we don't have to think every part of us is beautiful. And the pressure to think that every part of us is beautiful, in my opinion, can sometimes make us feel worse, because then if we're seeing something in the mirror that we're like, oh, I don't think that's beautiful, then we just add the, dang it, I know I should be thinking that this is beautiful. I should be loving myself. Like, then it just adds another should and another layer of shame on top of something that does not need to be there, right? I believe that if we start at acceptance and start at fostering enoughness with ourselves, whether that is really anything, but like in this case with our bodies, that is a genuinely more empowering place to shoot for. And honestly, I'm currently doing this with I have like under eye wrinkles. This camera is really good. If you're watching on YouTube, so good that for some reason it makes it look like I don't have eyebrows. But anyway, I'm currently doing this with my premature crow's feet right now. Okay. So yes, starting at enoughness, be accepting. All right, back to the main point. So if I was insecure about my butt size, I would start with acceptance, see if I could find enoughness. And then in the future, when I would have any doubts about my butt, I would literally just be like, nope, I don't go there anymore. I would just interrupt it. Nope, we're good. We're not going to be doing that. Now, this is super important distinction. I would dismiss these thoughts after I truly confronted them. Like, I don't want to ignore them or push them down. Like, so after I spent some time being like, okay, how can I accept it? How can I own the fact I got a little small behind? How can I feel just a little bit better about it? Just a little bit more of enoughness about it? A little bit more of okayness. After I did that, then when my brain would go down this rabbit hole of, oh, you got a small butt size, your back end is flat, then I would interrupt that and be like, nope, we don't go there anymore. Okay? Only after I confronted those thoughts. Now, I am way oversimplifying this, but what I do know to be true is that as women, we have been told a lie that we need to be perfect, that we need our bodies to be perfect, and we have been shown that we need to feel insecure about anything on our bodies that isn't perfect, so that they can sell us a bunch of things to fix ourselves, and then we can be more worthy. And what I do know is that enoughness is liberation from all that. Because feeling good enough is breaking free from the chase of, I need to fix myself. I need to look better and better. I need to be perfect to be worthy. Feeling good enough is like taking that lens of, I need to make sure my body's perfect, and like throwing it on the ground. So, what a topic. Now, some of you might be like, okay, Jewel, that is awesome, but what if this unsolicited opinion is coming from someone that I trust? When do I listen to other people's opinions? I hear you. And there are some really great, I hear you. And there are some really great questions to ask yourself when considering someone else's opinion. Ask yourself, who said it? Do you value their opinion? Why or why not? Is there anything influencing their opinion? Anything on their glasses? Is their opinion coming from love? Where's their opinion coming from? And then ask yourself, what do I think about this? Is this something I want to reflect on? So another story. Recently, I stated my opinion to someone that's in my life about their drinking. My opinion was that their drinking was becoming a little bit concerning. And this person was like, yeah, you're right. I do want to evaluate my relationship with alcohol. And they took a break from alcohol. Now, they could have just told me to F off, to fudge off, because I was expressing my unsolicited opinion. But like I said earlier, this is not always a bad thing we have to protect ourselves from. And if we go back to that question, is there anything influencing their opinion? Anything on their glasses? That's really helpful here, because what was on my glasses? My glasses had filters of knowledge about what's normal for this person and filters of concern and love. And those other questions, what do I think about this? Is this something I want to reflect on? Those were also really helpful here, because this person also reflected and realized that they didn't love their drinking either. They wanted to reflect on it. But just like how I was stating my opinion from concern and not from shaming them, this person didn't have to shame themselves either. Y'all, if someone we love shares their opinion with us and we do want to reflect on it, it does not mean we have to reflect on it from shaming and like thinking that we're the worst and thinking that we need to be better or different. We can reflect on their opinion with love for ourselves, with compassion, okay? We are just using their opinion to be aware and to acknowledge something so that we can gain more authority over it. Shame is not necessary here. All right. Back to barman and my ass. I think we can all agree that this man was not coming from love and that his glasses were smudged like crazy. I realized I didn't want to take on his opinion, and anytime I saw my behind in the mirror, I was like, heck yeah. Now, do I still have moments when I'm like, oh my gosh, does it look flat? Honestly, not really. But when I do, I am able to interrupt it and be like, I do not take on that misogynistic BS. And then maybe, I do a little wink at myself or pop my hip. But this interruption is such a success. It makes me feel so good. We don't need to banish our thoughts. We just need to acknowledge them and interrupt them the majority of the time. That's more than enough. Like, I feel so good about myself when I do my little wink, my little hip pop. So the next time someone gives you their opinion and it bothers you, ask yourself, who is saying this? Is there anything that's influencing their opinion? Anything on their glasses? Now, just recognizing in general where you are believing their opinion, so empowering. So empowering, so helpful to be like, oh, this is where I think that. Okay. Now, back to that societal belief that women must be attractive to be worthy, because apparently I'm not done. I am in the works of researching for a really great episode. I'm going to be talking about the specific social anxieties that women face, and I'm going to be explaining these anxieties to my partner. It's going to be so fun. So let me know if there are any specific resources that you want me to check out for that. But all in all, that is the story about how my little PH, like fat ass, taught me such a valuable lesson about other people's opinions. Much love, y'all. Thanks for hanging out with me today, and go shake your peaches. Thanks for joining me on the Socially Delightful podcast. I'm Jewel, and I'm truly so grateful that you came and hung out with me today. If this podcast meant something to you, it would mean so much to me if you left me a review so that way I could keep making content that you love. And if you really want to make my whole day, share this podcast to your Instagram story and tag me at Connection with Jewel so I can shout you out. Or send me a message and let me know what resonated with you or what you want to hear next. And I'll see you at the next episode.